adventure in the town of North Hempstead. I'm Leslie Gross, and this is Around the Town. We're here in East Hills today to see one of the treasures that was here from 100 years ago, and learn a little bit about the history of the town of North Hempstead. I want to welcome an old friend, Howard Kroplik, who is here with us today. The town has recently embarked, with your help, on a new mission to save a 100-year-old relic of the town. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's start at the beginning. We're in front of a gate. It's a gate that people that have lived in the town of North Hempstead have probably passed hundreds of times, like I have, and not realizing what this gate is. So Howard, would you tell us a little bit about where we're standing?
Yeah, this is a beautiful entrance to the Mackay estate. This was a 650-acre estate by Clarence. It was owned by Clarence Mackay. And this is a beautiful mansion. It was designed by the world-famous architect Stanford White. The gate lodge is significant because it was a miniature of what the mansion actually looked like. It had the same kind of French Renaissance design, and the lodge keeper actually lived in it as well.
That's an amazing thing. Now, this huge estate lasted until the death of Clarence Mackay over 100 years, well, in the middle 1900s.
Right.
And then his son took over the estate, isn't that correct?
His son took over the estate, but he really didn't have enough money to manage this. So eventually it fell apart, it became ruins, and the mansion itself was taken down in 1947, and then it was sold to land developers in the early 50s.
Well, the interesting thing that brings us to the gate today is that there are several pieces of the estate left. It's been developed into Harbor Hill, into homes, but there's some very interesting things that you've brought to the attention of the town, and one in particular, which was sculpted after the Marly horse in France that stood on the Champs-Élysées right across from the Arc de Triomphe. But I don't want to tell about that yet till we get to see that horse. We're going to go check out something very special that I don't think any of you have seen before. Why don't you come with me? Hi, Melissa.
Hi, how are you?
I'm Leslie Gross.
Nice
to meet you. I understand this is Mark.
This is my son Mark.
Hi, Mark.
And this is Jake.
Hi, Jake. Nice
And
to
it's
meet
his
you.
friends.
Jake, what do you have in your backyard that nobody else has anywhere?
A statue, like
A statue of what?
of a horse and a man.
A horse and a man. And Mark, what has it been like growing up with a statue? This is not any little ordinary statue, is it?
No, it's been cool. Like, all my friends are asking, what is it? Like, why is it here? It's just been nice having it in the backyard.
And Melissa, I just want to thank you on behalf of the entire town of North Hempstead, because it's really through your efforts and your husband's efforts, your whole family's efforts, that we're going to be able to preserve this statue for all time. We're going to be putting this in Gerry Pond Park, which actually is right down the hill in your backyard, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
We are in the highest point anywhere in Harbor Hill. So this was the back of the Mackay estate, and when they built your house, they built it right up to this statue, didn't they?
They did.
Well, go ahead. What did you want to say about it?
We're so excited that the statue is going to be taken care of and restored, and it's going to be put up in a place where everybody from Roslyn and from all around will be able to appreciate it. And we're very excited.
Well, I would like everybody who's watching to be able to see the statue, because when we come around the corner, and I can just get a glimpse of it now, they won't believe what you've had the pleasure of living with in your backyard and what you're going to be sharing with the community. Why don't we go take a look?
All right.
This is actually, Howard, the very back, the northwest corner of what was the Mackay estate,
Right,
correct?
these were right at the beginning of the gardens of the Mackay estate, and the Mackay estate went towards the back here. And this is actually the 100th anniversary of this statue in pedestal. It was erected in 1910.
That's amazing, just amazing. So this is what you've looked out the back window and seen right off of your deck, huh?
Yeah.
Howard, can you tell us a little bit more? I know that the original statues were on the Champs-Élysées,
Right,
and they were then moved to the Louvre to preserve them there.
right.
How did Mrs. Mackay happen to get these copies of the statues here for her estate?
Well, Mrs. Mackay wanted French gardens, so she commissioned that these statues be made. These are duplicates of the ones that were made for Louis XV in about 1750. So they commissioned to have the statues exact replicas of the ones that were in France. And they came over and they were made in 1910, and beautiful examples. This one here is in the exact spot that was made for the Mackay estate. The other one is in front of Roslyn High School.
Well, the ones in front of Roslyn High School, I understand, they took the 40-foot pedestal down.
Yeah.
So it has fallen victim to a lot of abuse, and there are pieces missing from it. So this one is actually in much better shape.
Right. This is in beautiful shape, and the pedestal is gorgeous itself. It's a beautiful limestone pedestal.
The limestone that we see here, and we'll take a closer look in a minute, but the limestone looks very similar to the limestone that they used in the gatehouse that we already saw.
Exactly. They tried to have the same design throughout the estate, including the same type of stone.
It's just incredible. Now, it's going to be a big project. They're going to start dismantling the horse and the pedestal and the groom, which is next to the horse. They're going to start dismantling it. And what's going to be the process? What's going to happen next?
Well, first of all, we want to thank the Schulmans for donating this to the Town of North Hempstead. And we've involved the Roslyn Landmark Society, which will be managing the project. And they have initial funding from the Gary Trust, who will be doing the funding to remove it and to store it. And then we'll have a campaign so we can bring it back to life and restore it in the Gary Pond Park right off Roslyn Road.
That's going to be an amazing process, and I know that the Schulmans have kind of a time frame, so we're lucky that we're in here on such a beautiful day, a beautiful winter day. And what I'm hoping, Melissa, is that we're going to be able to follow this whole process from the dismantling of the horse to the storage when they start to restore it. And I want to invite you and invite the boys to come and take a look as each process starts, because none of this would have happened without you and without the generosity of your family. I understand, Howard, that 100 years ago when these statues were built, these replicas were built, they cost about $25,000.
Right.
And now in today's market,
That's
it
about
would be
$500,000.
$500,000. So just to put that into perspective for the viewers, that this is something that really is a treasure that now will be preserved, and once put to Gary Pond Park, will be preserved by the town, will be maintained by the town, which is a fantastic feat. And what do you think about being able to keep this, to preserve it for all time?
Very cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
It's nice that they're willing to share this, that everybody will be driving by on Roslyn Road and they'll say, wow, look at that horse. And we hope to preserve that on a plaque of some sort, so we'll be able to know where it came from, where it once stood. And that's very exciting as far as I'm concerned.
Leslie, I remember the first time I drove past here and I had to stop the car and I saw this horse over the rooftop, and I go, what is that? It was like amazing.
We get that a lot.
And I'm
People
sure
drive by and they stop and they can't believe it. They don't know what it is in the backyard.
I hear
So,
you even have bus tours
yes,
come over
we've
here.
had people stop by and get off on the bus and walk over just to take a look at it, because they know the history behind the statue, and that's, it's special.
We want to thank you for inviting us to your home, and again, for preserving this piece of North Hempstead history for all time. We're here at East Hills on Poplar Place, and they've been disassembling the Mackay horse all morning. Let's go see what progress they've made. Hugh, tell us a little bit about the project from your point of view.
It's important for us because it's in our own backyard, and we want to make sure that a nice job is done and that the people of the area will enjoy it. And there's a lot of missing pieces, so we're going to have to do the head, and we're going to have to do the bridle on it, and the legs and the hoofs. But once we get it done, it'll be a magnificent project, and it'll be something that the community could be proud of.
Now, tell us a little bit about the stone carver that you have on this project.
Andre is, a stone carver. He's up there right now.
Everybody's holding
with the blue hat, and he's been carving for years, and he's done many major projects, and he's taking a very special interest. He didn't even want to take the job unless he was here to dismantle it, because he wanted to make sure that nothing was broken and everything came out smoothly. And as you see, everything is coming apart smoothly.
So it really is a labor of love. It looks like they're getting the bottom pedestal, the last one that the horse was sitting on just an hour ago. Howard, what do you think about getting to this day?
Oh, it's very exciting. Very exciting. We moved pretty quickly. It took a couple of months, and we had great cooperation from Town of North Hempstead, from the Schulman family.
You this time.
And it's very exciting to see it come together and actually come apart, and then we'll have to put it back together again.
It will.
Very
it will
exciting.
Meet together again. Melissa, this is really a bittersweet day, isn't it?
It is. I didn't expect to feel all of these different emotions, but on one hand, I'm so happy that I know the statue is going to be restored and put in a great place, but on the other hand, it really blew me away to see it taken apart piece by piece like that.
Well, I know it is going to be in good hands, and the one thing that I'm happy about is that your family for generations to come can say that you saved the sculpture.
Yes.
It's been here for over 100 years, and once we restore it, once we get the people to help us and realize the importance of saving history for the town of North Hempstead, it's something that you can be very proud of.
Yes, and that was our initial plan, and we're so happy that it's going to be taken in effect, and we just can't wait to see it completely restored and put back together and put in a nice place where people can go and look at it and always know the history. There's so much history behind it. So.
You're right. And your kids, I know, were having a tough time this morning going off to school. Mm-hmm. And that everybody in the neighborhood really has become attached to the sculpture.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just people on an everyday basis who just go for walks in the neighborhood, or people who drive by our neighbors across the street. Every time they look out their window, they would see the statue behind our house. It's been a part of history for many people, so
we took
we're
lots
happy.
of pictures. We took lots of pictures.
We did.
It was amazing to see the North Shore stone truck come and trying to lift 8,000 pounds at a time.
It's unbelievable.
They took piece by piece, and we'll have some of that on film. So you'll always see that. Your kids will be able to see the taking apart and then the putting back together.
Yeah, we're excited
this beautiful,
about it.
beautiful sculpture. So we again thank you. I can't thank you and your husband Bruce enough, the boys, for sharing this with the town of North Hempstead.